friends, everyone is and today is Wednesday, which means a new news release. As always, we will discuss everything that happens, or rather nothing good happens. Perhaps we will start with the conflict in Israel. US says Israel not responsible for hospital blast. In a statement Wednesday, White House spokeswoman Adrienne Watson said the current US assessment, based on overhead imagery, intercepts and open source information, found that Israel was not responsible for the blast at the Al-Ali hospital in Gaza. Earlier in the day, President Biden, visiting Israel in a show of support for the US ally, said the strike appeared to have resulted from an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza, echoing claims made by the Israel Defense Forces. The Gaza Health Ministry said the strike, which Palestinian authorities have blamed on Israel, killed 471 people. None of the claims could be immediately verified by the Washington Post. Separately, President Biden announced plans for an unprecedented aid package to Israel, as well as humanitarian aid to Gaza and the West Bank, in a speech laced with calls for restraint. Palestinians shovel corpses, provide assistance to the wounded after a devastating explosion in a hospital. Rescue teams and first responders searched Wednesday through debris at the site of a deadly blast at a Gaza hospital that left hundreds dead and sparked outrage across the region. The explosion killed 471 people and injured over 300, with 28 of the wounded in critical condition, according to a statement from Gaza's health ministry Wednesday. The blast is the single deadliest incident for civilians in Gaza in a war that has already killed more Palestinians than any previous conflict between Israel and Hamas. Images from Al-Ali Hospital on Wednesday morning showed a blackened hospital parking lot filled with burned-out cars. At the time of the attack, that parking lot and nearby courtyard were filled with hundreds of families sheltering near the hospital, according to first responders and aid groups. Biden in Tel Aviv supports Israel's lie of innocence in connection with the explosion at the hospital. President Biden on Wednesday firmly backed Israel's position that it was not responsible for the recent blast at a Gaza hospital that allegedly killed hundreds of people, making his comments during an audacious trip here while the region is still engulfed in turmoil. Based on the information we've seen today, it appears as a result of an errant rocket fired by a terrorist group in Gaza, Biden said after meeting with victims of the October 7 Hamas attack in Israel and relatives of those currently being held hostage by the militant group. The United States unequivocally stands for the protection of civilian life during the conflict. And I grieve. I truly grieve for the families who were killed or wounded by this tragedy, Biden said. Earlier in the day, the president said his assessment of responsibility was based on data shown to him by the U.S. Defense Department. Let's run through some news faster. Starting today, all restrictions related to the supply of ballistic missiles are being lifted from Iran. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri Khani on his page on the social network X. From October 18, 2023, in accordance with UN Security Council Resolution 2231, all restrictions unfairly imposed on ballistic missile activities and their supplies from the Islamic Republic of Iran are lifted. And Iran is no longer subject to any restrictions in the context of the Security Council. Putin started a press conference in Beijing. The main thing: supplies of atoms to Ukraine cause harm and create an additional threat, but the Russian Federation will be able to repel such attacks. At the upcoming meeting in Bishkek, the premiers of the Russian Federation and China will sign a plan for cooperation between the two countries until 2030. Putin on Ukraine's new actions in the Kherson direction: there are no results, but there are losses. Patrolling over the Black Sea will be carried out by MiG-31 with Daggers. The Russian aerospace forces begin patrolling in the neutral zone over the Black Sea on a permanent basis. Delivery of atoms to Ukraine is a mistake of the USA. Let's talk a little bit about the war in Ukraine. Missile shot down in Kara-Koba neighborhood of Sevastopol, no one injured. A missile is reported to have been downed in the Kara-Koba neighborhood of Sevastopol, causing no casualties or damage to infrastructure, the city's governor, Mikhail Razvozayev, said. A missile was reportedly shot down in the Kara-Koba area. The warhead exploded on a field. Nobody was injured. There is no damage to infrastructure either, he said. No fire occurred at the scene. All emergency response squads are back to base, but stay on guard. Sevastopol is the main base of the Black Sea Fleet. The city periodically comes under Ukrainian attacks. On September 22, Kiev's forces launched a missile attack on the headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet. No civilians were harmed. The Russian Defense Ministry later said the air defense system shot down 5 missiles during the attack. Shortly afterward, Razvozeyev issued orders to enhance the air attack warning system. Mikhail Razvozeyev, the governor of the Russian Black Sea port of Sevastopol, said the air attack on the city is over. Air raid over, he said on Telegram. Ground transportation is resuming work, the city's transport department said on Telegram. Razvozeyev earlier said the Black Sea Fleet was repelling an aerial attack on Sevastopol. Russian forces destroy over 8,000 military drones in Ukraine operation. Russian forces have destroyed over 8,000 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles since the start of the special military operation in Ukraine, Russia's defense ministry reported on Wednesday. In all, the following targets have been destroyed since the start of the special military operation: 491 aircraft, 251 helicopters, 8,004 unmanned aerial vehicles, 441 surface-to-air missile systems, 12,746 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,163 multiple rocket launchers, 810 field artillery guns and mortars and 14,419 special military motor vehicles, the ministry said in a statement. I hope you were interested. That's it, see you soon.